So what really happened in the 11-18 patch? What's up, GameLeap? It's the Jizzle, and in today's video we will be revealing the 15 most effective champions by the 11-18 changes and what is happening to these picks in the near future. So not only will this video give you the champions you have to pick for the rest of 11-18, but also the champions you should practice for the incoming 11-19 patch as well. So let's get into it. So the first champion who has changed a lot in the win rate department since 11-18 is Twitch. So you're getting more bonus AD from your ultimate now, which is great when you hit level 6, 11, and 16. And this has seen Twitch's win rate increase by over 1%. And for each of these picks as well, we'll show you the runes and core items you have to build. But here's the question, guys. Is it still going to be worth to play Twitch with this buff? Honestly, probably not, just because compared to other AD carries who are strong with Immortal Shield Bow and Wit's End, so if we think of Samira, Draven, Vayne, Ashe, Twitch just really pales in comparison. Also, his laning phase is super weak, so you can get hard bullied early game and not even get to level 6 with a fighting chance. And in solo queue especially, you really need peel. Like, all you have is your flash and that's it. And even if you do position perfectly in teamfights, you're probably still going to hit the deck. So even though this buff was definitely nice for Twitch, it's definitely not enough to push him into that higher echelon of AD carries. Now, next up in the win rate department, we have Rumble, whose win rate has actually improved since 11-18, and this is because the adjustments that came in. So even though you're getting less attack speed in the early levels in your passive, your W's cooldown is now a flat 6 seconds. And for mid lane Rumble in particular, this is a great buff because your W on a lower cooldown means that you can spam this during the laning phase to get the shield and the bonus movement speed, and having this more often means you can get in range more, you can escape more ganks, and this has seen Rumble's win rate increase by almost 1.5%. But I do recommend playing the Junkyard Yordle in the mid lane, in top and jungle, just because you're getting less attack speed in the early game. It's definitely not worth. And next patch, because this power is still going to be here for mid Rumble, definitely worth picking in 11-19 as well. Then next up, we have GRAGAS, who got a buff in 11-18, and GRAGAS's win rate as a result has also increased by almost 1.5%. So the fact there's a bigger AP ratio in your W now means that if you are going AP GRAGAS with rocket belts or shoes, you are going to be dealing more damage with that W enhanced auto attack. And remember, pretty much this is guaranteed because you're body slam, and before you go in, you should really be Wing, so you get that auto attack off. Now in 11-19, nothing is actually changing for GRAGAS, which is a good thing. This means that if you're playing GRAGAS in the mid lane, in the jungle, probably not in the top lane because you're not going to be building AP to make use of this buff, but in the mid lane and in the jungle, Rocket Belt GRAGAS is still going to be very good next patch, and honestly, really underrated. Now the next champion whose win rate has improved since 11-18, this is Karma, also going up 1.5%. And there are two obvious reasons for these. Your base armor improved, and your E, your base shield, this improved by 10 at each rank. Now what's interesting for Karma support, if you are maxing your Q first, I want you to change it up. I want you putting 3 points in your Q, so by level 5, 3 points in Q, 1 in W, 1 in E, and then from level 7 onwards until level 10, you are putting your next 4 points in your E. This is going to max that out, and it's actually better than playing around your Q's poke because of the shield buff. In high reload, this setup has a 55% win rate, that's right, and master and above, which just goes to show you how actually good this is, but not enough people are doing it. Now, to be honest, Karma still isn't one of the best supports in the game, but in solo queue she can definitely work, but make sure you use the skill order and you will give yourself the best possible chance of winning. Now, unfortunately, we have to change the mood here, guys, because for this next champion, Ashe, her win rate has actually decreased by 1.5%, and that is all because of that volley nerf. So the fact this is on a much higher cooldown in the early game, 4 seconds in fact at rank 1, and even though it does go down to 4 seconds at rank 5, it just makes your laning phase a lot less scary. And for Ashe, one of the big strengths you have is that your laning phase, well, you are that lane bully in the bot lane with Hail of Blades, you're slow, and pretty much with any support you have on your team, you synergize really well. But the saving grace for Ashe is that she is one of these AD carries that really makes use of Immortal Shield Bow and Wit's End. This combination is still super broken, and there is no reason to not play Ashe in 11-19 as well. And let me just say that in the pro scene and the world, we will see Ashe, if she's in her current state, pretty much all the time despite this volley nerf. Now another champion who's decreasing win rate, guys, by 1.5%, this is Talon. And unfortunately for Talon, even though your jungle has been buffed recently, in 11-18, your Q's base damage from rank 2 onwards is now down in terms of damage. Now this is really important for Talon because even if you are going Gore Drinker Talon or if you're going full on lethality Talon, your all-in combo, which is really what you're about, is just doing less damage. But the shining light for Talon is that jungle Talon is actually now becoming viable because of the W buff in 11-18, which now deals 50% bonus damage against monsters. This means that you can actually clear your camps at a meta speed, and as you can see on your screen now, these are the core items you have to go: Gore Drinker, Ghostblade, and Black Cleaver. But your runes are also important. Please make sure you go Conqueror and not Electrocute, because what Talon has really been, even since the start of the season, is more of a bruiser than an actual assassin. Now you still kind of play the same, but your setup is different now. This gives you a lot more survivability, sustain, even just tankiness. It's a lot harder to kill you because of the extra HP you're getting, but you still deal a heck of a lot of damage, and this is why jungle Talon has seen a lot more play in higher elos than in the mid lane. So make sure you do the same in lower elos, and next patch with nothing changing, this is still going to be good. Now the next champion we have to talk about, guys, this is BRAUM, and for BRAUM, his win rate has gone down 1.6% in 11-18, and the reason for this, even though there are no nerfs to BRAUM or to his items, the reason for this is because Soraka is being picked a lot more, Amumu is being picked a lot more as a support, and next patch with Seraphine getting a massive buff in terms of her ultimate, BRAUM is going to have a lot harder time because against these ranged champions and Amumu, these are really bad matchups and it's very hard to play the lane and have a real presence. Now of course, with a strong AD carry early game like Draven or Lucian, BRAUM can definitely work, but in the solo queue world, if you don't actually win lane in the first 10 minutes, BRAUM falls off so hard compared to like a Soraka, a Seraphine, and it also doesn't help that Sona is also really good at the moment as well, even though she's getting nerfed next patch. Now let's switch the mood up, guys, and talk about another champion who has benefited from the 11-18 changes, and this has been TALIYAH, with her win rate going up almost 2% this patch. And the reasons for these are again obvious. The fact your Q, if you're casting this on worked ground, this refunds 50% of the spell's cooldown. The fact the worked ground radius is smaller, meaning that you get more territory to actually use all of your stones, and then the worked ground duration being 20 seconds lower. Pretty much what all of this means is that you're getting off more Qs and more max Qs as well. So whether you're playing TALIYAH in the mid lane, in the jungle, or if you're a real Chad and playing TALIYAH as an AP carry in the bot lane, these changes are unreal, and next patch with nothing getting changed, wherever you play TALIYAH, it's going to be a very, very good pick. Now we're getting into the real big winners and losers, guys, for 11-18, and the next champion whose win rate has improved by over 2% in 11-18, this is Misfortune, and this is all because the ultimate change that came in. So the fact your ultimate is now giving you more waves in total means that your wombo combos and full channeled ultimates are dealing a lot more damage. And what's interesting if you're playing Misfortune as an AD carry is the actual rune setup that's becoming popular. This revolves around Comet and your poke in lane rather than actually running press the attack. Now of course you still can, but this is the preferred choice in higher elo, and because it also procs off your ultimate, it makes it even more scary. And with no nerfs next patch, MF will still prove to be one of the top AD carries you can pick. Now unfortunately, ahead of MF, we have an AD carry who hasn't had the same fortune as MF, and this is Kog'Maw. Now you might be like, how on earth can Kog'Maw go down in win rate? Because in 11-18, his E got buffed, so the AP ratio in your Voiders is 20% higher. But here's the thing, if you're playing Kog'Maw in the mid lane as an AP carry, it's just too risky, and lots of people are trying this out, and this is why Kog'Maw's win rate overall has decreased. In the bot lane, he's still a very good champion with Immortal Shield Bow and Wit's End, especially if you have an Enchantress support. So this one is a little placebo, and Kog'Maw overall is still a decent champion, but in the mid lane, yes, it is very risky playing just because you're so killable, and your actual DPS compared to other mages and AP champions is not as good. Now in 11-19, nothing is changing, so if you're playing Kog'Maw as an AD carry, for sure, go do it, but if you're playing him in the mid lane, it is going to be very risky. Now on the brighter side of things, the next champion who has improved by so much in 11-18, this is GANGPLANK, whose win rate has improved by over 2%, and this is all because of the HP buffs you got. So your base HP is up by 30, and you're also getting more HP when you level up. This is really compensated for the Grasp of the Undying nerf, so your Q is now counting as a ranged attack instead of a melee attack, and because you're lacking that sustain, well, this is now giving you the actual tankiness and survivability you desperately need. Now GP's win rate overall still isn't that great, it's 45%, which is one of the lowest, but this actually gives you a fighting chance for the most part. Now unfortunately in 11-19 there are no buffs to GP or his items, and there probably should have been, so no doubt there are better champions to pick into the top lane, but because of this HP buff, it definitely gives you GP players a better laning phase rather than before. Now one of the biggest surprises coming out of 11-18 was the buff to Cinch. So now when you're using your Q of your ultimate up, this is going to apply Grievous Wounds, and obviously for the lane this is going to be great, especially in the top lane because there are so many champions with innate sustain, and all of these champions are pretty popular. But also think about in team fights, if you're queuing around with your ultimate going crazy in a 5v5, you're applying Grievous Wounds to every single enemy champion. This change has seen Cinch's win rate increase by almost 2.5%. Now his items still suck compared to lots of other champions in the top lane. Like think about a Camille with Divine Sunderer, think about a Fiora or Riven with Gore Drinker, think about a Singe with Rivemaker. Doesn't sound the same. But this change alone has given you enough power to compete with the best. Now in high reloads, Cinch's win rate is still pretty low, around 46%, and because there are no buffs next patch, he's still going to be hard to play against better players simply because they can kite you around like crazy. But this is definitely a push in the right direction, and in lower elos, by all means, go and proxy and go and be a massive nuisance. Now we've got 3 more champions to talk about, guys, and if you do enjoy these videos where we talk you through the 15 champions who have been affected in terms of win rate by the current changes, then let us know by leaving a like down below. And the next champion we have to talk about is Soraka, whose win rate is improved by almost 3% simply because your ultimate is now ignoring grievous wounds when it actually applies its heal. Now next patch, remember, your ultimate is going to be healing for less, but just the fact that it is ignoring grievous wounds is still going to be nuts, and Soraka's play rate as well has also gone up to 10%. That's a 5% improvement. And what's funny is that she actually has the second highest win rate out of any champion in the game just because of this change. So if there was ever a time to play the banana throwing pink unicorn, it is definitely in this patch and the next one as well. But unfortunately guys, for our last two picks, I'm going to dampen the mood here because these two champions, their win rates have declined by 3%. So for FIZZ, what Riot did, they nerfed your ultimate while buffing your passive and your W, but this saw FIZZ's win rate decrease by 3%. So next patch, what they are doing is completely reverting all of these nerfs in the current 11-18 patch, and instead they are decreasing your E's cooldown by 2 seconds at rank 5. This is huge because your E, you max this first, so at level 9 you're getting access to this extra cooldown, and this will for sure see FIZZ's win rate skyrocket above 50%. So next patch, if there was a time to play FIZZ a bit like Soraka, it is definitely now because of this E buff. It is your biggest ability, and having this on a lower cooldown going to be massive. Now the other champion is Renekton, whose win rate is the lowest in the game. It's around 44-45%, and this is all because of that empowered stun duration decrease. So the fact that stun targets are stunned for less with your Fury W, this just gives them more opportunity to escape and actually trade back with you rather than being stuck in that stun. But next patch, what's happening for Renekton is you're getting more base HP, you're getting more HP per level, and your W's animation is getting sped up by 13%, and you're actually going to be stunned yourself for less time as well, because when Renekton does actually use his W, he himself is locked in that animation, you're locked in it for less. This means you can actually just continue that trade and put out more damage yourself, and all of these buffs are really big and we'll definitely see Renekton's win rate go back in the other direction next patch. So in 11-19, definitely play Renekton, but probably don't play him for the rest of 11-18, and those are the 15 champions, guys, who have been affected most by the 11-18 changes. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our future daily uploads, and also make sure to check out the GameLeap website linked in the description and comment section for all your League of Legends needs. I'm talking high elo VOD analyses, challenger champion guides, courses, like whatever it is you think you need to improve, we definitely have it on our website. So get access to that exclusive content by signing up. And until tomorrow's daily upload, this has been the